Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into psychology, emotions, and the human mind. Quick request, drop a comment below telling us your city and country. We love seeing where our amazing viewers are tuning in from. Tonight, you find yourself walking along a quiet mountain path that has been worn smooth by countless footsteps over many years. This is not a dramatic mountain with sharp peaks and treacherous cliffs, but rather a gentle, rolling landscape covered in soft moss and hardy wildflowers that have learned to bloom despite the thin air and changing weather. You recognize something familiar in this terrain, the way it endures, the way it persists, the way it continues to sustain life even when conditions are less than perfect. Your feet know this path somehow, though you cannot remember walking it before. Each step feels both weary and determined, like someone who has been traveling a long time but has never lost sight of their destination. The path descends gradually toward a hidden valley that opens before you like a secret the mountain has been keeping safe. A valley where the light is softer, the air is warmer, and something in your chest that has been tight for as long as you can remember begins to loosen, just slightly. This valley is different from the bright, dramatic places others might choose for healing. It does not overwhelm with stunning vistas or demand awe with spectacular displays. Instead, it offers something more precious, something more suited to your particular kind of weariness. It offers steady, gentle presence. It offers the kind of beauty that reveals itself slowly to those who have learned patience through necessity, the kind of peace that comes not from the absence of struggle, but from finding grace within endurance. As you enter this sanctuary, you notice that everything here grows at its own pace. Nothing is forced or hurried or competing for attention. The trees are not the tallest you have ever seen, but they are deeply rooted with bark that tells stories of seasons weathered and survived. The grass is not emerald bright, but it is consistent, covering the valley floor in a carpet of quiet green that asks nothing of you except that you walk gently upon it. There is a stream running through the heart of the valley, but it does not rush or tumble with dramatic force. Instead, it flows steadily, persistent in its journey toward something larger than itself. Its voice is neither loud nor silent, but maintains a constant, gentle murmur that speaks of continuance, of showing up day after day, of finding a way forward, even when the way is not clear. The sound begins to match your breathing, creating a rhythm that your nervous system recognizes as safe, as sustainable, as something you can count on. Along the banks of this faithful stream grow willows that have learned to bend without breaking. Their graceful branches sweep almost to the water, creating natural shelters where you could rest if you chose to. These trees understand something about persistence. They know that survival sometimes looks like yielding, sometimes looks like flexibility, sometimes looks like growing in whatever direction finds the light. The willows whisper this wisdom to you as their leaves rustle in the gentle valley breeze. You follow the stream deeper into the valley and discover that it widens into a small lake, perfectly circular, as if shaped by patient hands rather than dramatic geological events. The water is clear enough to see the bottom, but deep enough to hold mysteries. Smooth stones line the shore, worn into perfect ovals by the quiet persistence of small waves that have lapped against them for centuries. This is not a place of sudden transformation, but of gradual polishing, of slow becoming, of finding beauty in the process rather than demanding instant results. Asterisk, at the lake's edge grows a garden, unlike any you have seen before. Nothing here blooms with the flashy brightness that demands immediate attention. Instead, you find flowers that reward closer-looking pale purple heather that releases its fragrance. Only when you pause to breathe deeply small white jasmine stars that glow softly in the gathering dusk, hardy lavender that has learned to thrive in conditions others might find challenging. These are flowers that understand your kind of strength. The strength that is not dramatic, but deeply reliable. Sit slowly on a sun-warmed boulder at the water's edge and feel how perfectly it supports your weight. This stone has been here longer than you can imagine, shaped by weather and time into the ideal place for someone like you to rest. It does not promise to solve all your problems or deliver you from every difficulty, but it offers something equally valuable. It offers reliable support. It offers the gift of being held by something that will not give way beneath the weight of your weariness. From this seat, you can see the entire lake, the gentle slopes of the valley rising around you like protective arms. The light here is never harsh, never demanding, but maintains a quality of softness that allows your eyes to rest, allows your mind to stop working so hard to make sense of everything. The sun filtering through thin clouds creates patterns on the water's surface, patterns that shift and change, but maintain an underlying stability that speaks to the deepest part of your being. As you sit in this perfect stillness, you begin to notice that your body is holding itself differently. The constant tension you carry in your shoulders, the way you brace against life as if expecting it to knock you down, begins to soften here in this valley that asks nothing of you except that you allow yourself to be held by its gentle persistence. Your breathing naturally deepens, not because you force it, but because the air here seems designed for deeper breaths, seems to invite your lungs to expand, seems to offer more nourishment per breath than you are accustomed to receiving. In the distance, you see a doe stepping delicately to the water's edge. She moves with unhurried grace, pausing to drink, then lifting her head to survey the valley with calm alertness. She is not anxious, but aware, not fearful, but appropriately cautious. She has learned to navigate life with steady wisdom rather than dramatic reactions. She models for you a way of being that honors both vulnerability and strength, that takes life as it comes without demanding it be different. The doe's presence reminds you of your own quiet strength, the way you have learned to keep going even when going feels impossible, the way you have developed skills of endurance that others might not even notice but that are profound in their own way. You have become like this valley itself, not flashy or dramatic, but deeply reliable, capable of sustaining life even when conditions are not ideal, capable of finding beauty even when beauty has to be searched for rather than simply received. As evening settles over the valley, the sky does not burst into spectacular colors, but instead shifts through subtle gradations of blue and gray and soft gold. The kind of sunset that rewards patience, that reveals its beauty slowly to those who are willing to sit and watch without demanding a show. This is your kind of beauty, beauty that does not shout but whispers, beauty that does not insist on being noticed but offers itself generously to anyone who takes the time to see. Asterisk, the first stars begin to appear, not in dramatic clusters, but one by one, as if they too understand the value of gentle persistence, of showing up consistently rather than trying to outshine everything else in the sky. Each star that appears seems to echo something in your own heart, the way you have learned to find points of light. Even in long periods of darkness, the way you have developed the skill of locating hope, even when hope has to be searched for actively rather than simply stumbled upon. A gentle mist begins to rise from the warm water of the lake, creating an atmosphere of softness and mystery. The mist does not obscure your vision entirely, but adds a quality of dreaminess to the landscape that allows your mind to rest from its constant work of analyzing and figuring out and trying to solve the unsolvable. This is the gift the valley offers, the gift of existing in a space where you do not have to have everything figured out, where you can simply be present to what is, without having to fix or change or improve anything. The stream continues its quiet song, the willows continue their gentle swaying, the mist continues its soft dance above the water. All of it steady, all of it reliable, all of it offering you a model for your own way of being in the world. You do not have to be the brightest or the strongest or the most resilient. You simply have to keep showing up the way this valley keeps showing up, the way the stream keeps flowing, the way the stars keep appearing one by one in the darkening sky. Asterisk. Feel your body sinking deeper into rest as you recognize yourself in this landscape. You are like this valley, capable of sustaining life and beauty, even when life feels more like endurance than celebration. You are like this stream, persistent in your flow toward something larger than yourself, even when the path is not always clear. You are like these steady stars, offering light that may seem small but is actually visible across vast distances. The temperature is perfect here, never too hot or too cold, but maintaining that quality of gentle warmth that allows your nervous system to finally relax. The way it rarely gets to relax in the harsh extremes of ordinary life. Your skin drinks in this perfect air. Your lungs fill with this perfect moisture. Your heart beats in rhythm with the gentle lapping of small waves against smooth stones. As full darkness settles over the valley, you realize you could sleep here safely, that this is a place designed for the kind of rest. You need rest that does not promise to solve everything, but offers to hold you while you gather strength for whatever comes next. The grass beneath the boulder is soft enough to cushion your sleep. The air is clean enough to fill your dreams with peace. The sounds of water and wind and night birds create the perfect lullaby for someone who has learned to find comfort in consistency rather than excitement. This is not a forest of dramatic, towering redwoods or exotic tropical plants, but rather a place of gentle, mixed woodland, where oak and maple and birch and pine have learned to grow together in harmony, creating a canopy that filters light into the most soothing patterns you have ever seen. The trees here understand something about community, about supporting each other through difficult seasons, about sharing resources and space without competition. They offer this wisdom to you silently, through their very presence, teaching you that healing does not have to be a solitary struggle, that you too can be supported by forces you cannot see but can learn to trust. As you walk deeper along the winding path, You notice that your breathing begins to change without any effort on your part. The air here is different, richer, with oxygen and something else, something that your cells recognize as nourishment for parts of yourself that have been starving for longer than you care to remember. Each breath seems to feed not just your lungs, but your spirit, filling empty spaces within you that you had forgotten existed, spaces that remember what it feels like to be at peace with your own existence. The path curves gently between massive tree trunks that have stood in this place for centuries, watching seasons change, watching storms pass, watching countless beings find their way to healing in this sanctuary of green silence. Their bark tells stories of endurance written in patterns of growth that speak of surviving drought and flood and fire, and still reaching toward light, still offering shade, still producing oxygen, still contributing to the great web of life that holds all beings in its intricate embrace. You come to a clearing where afternoon light filters through the canopy in golden columns that seem almost solid. Enough to touch the air here shimmers with dancing particles of pollen and moisture, creating an atmosphere that feels charged with healing energy. In the center of this clearing grows a circle of 7 ancient oaks, their trunks so wide that you could not wrap your arms around them, their roots so deep and intertwined that they have become a single organism, supporting each other through every storm that has ever moved across this land. These guardian trees have created a natural sanctuary within their circle, a space that feels simultaneously open to the sky and completely protected from any harm that might wish to enter. You walk slowly into this sacred circle and immediately feel the shift in energy, the way the very air seems to embrace you with the tenderness of old friends welcoming you home after a long and difficult journey. The ground within the circle is soft with moss that has grown undisturbed for decades, creating a natural carpet that cushions your every step. At the center of the circle lies a natural pool fed by an underground spring that bubbles up from the earth with water so pure and clear it seems to glow with its own inner light. The spring has been flowing here since before human memory, offering its gifts to any being who approaches with respect and need. The water maintains a perfect temperature, neither hot nor cold, but exactly the warmth of comfort itself, of being held in liquid love that asks nothing in return, but offers everything that a weary soul might need. Kneel slowly beside this sacred spring and cup the healing water in your hands. Feel its perfect temperature against your skin, its absolute purity flowing over your palms like liquid starlight. This water carries the essence of deep earth minerals that have been slowly filtering through layers of stone and soil for thousands of years, gathering healing properties that work on levels deeper than your conscious mind can understand. Drink slowly from your cupped hands and feel this ancient medicine traveling through your body, carrying nourishment to cells that have been running on empty for too long. The taste is unlike any water you have ever experienced, clean and sweet, with a subtle effervescence that seems to lift your spirits from within. As you drink, you feel something that has been locked tight in your chest for months or perhaps years, beginning to soften like ice melting in spring sunshine. This is the water of remembering who you were before the world taught you to doubt your worth, before you learned to make yourself small, before the constant low-grade sadness became so familiar you forgot what it felt like to exist without it. Rise slowly from the spring and notice how the simple act of drinking this healing water has already begun to change something fundamental in your being. The heaviness that has been your constant companion, the gray filter through which you have learned to see the world, begins to lift just enough for you to remember that colors can be brighter, that sensations can be more vivid, that life can hold flavors other than the muted tones of persistent melancholy. Around the edge of the clearing, you discover plants that seem to have been waiting specifically for your arrival. Chamomile, with flowers like tiny suns that release their calming essence when you brush against them. Wild mint, that offers its cooling comfort to your overheated nervous system. Lemon balm, that carries the promise of renewed energy and hope. These healing herbs grow abundantly here, not because they were planted by human hands, but because this land itself knows what medicine is, needed by souls who have carried sadness for too long. Find a place to sit among these healing plants, letting their combined fragrances create an atmosphere of natural aromatherapy that works directly on your limbic system, calming the parts of your brain that have been hypervigilant for so long, allowing your nervous system to remember what it feels like to relax into safety. The herbs seem to whisper ancient secrets about the slow, patient work of healing, about how recovery is not a destination, but a daily practice of choosing gentleness over harshness, hope over despair, self-compassion over self-criticism. Asterisk, as you settle into this green sanctuary, you notice a family of deer emerging from the deeper woods. They move with quiet grace, neither hurried nor hesitant, but with the steady confidence of creatures who belong exactly where they are. The doe leads her twin fawns to the edge of the spring to drink their trust in this place so complete that your presence does not disturb their peace. They teach you through their simple presence that belonging is not something you earn, but something you remember, that safety is not something you achieve, but something you allow yourself to receive. The afternoon light continues to shift and change as it filters through the constantly moving leaves, creating patterns of light and shadow that dance across your skin like gentle touches from invisible hands of comfort. This is the light of acceptance. Light that illuminates without judgment, light that reveals beauty without demanding perfection. The dancing patterns seem to massage away tension you have been holding in your facial muscles, in your scalp, in places you didn't even know were tight. From the constant effort of appearing okay when everything inside felt gray and muted, you lie back on the soft moss and feel the earth receiving your full weight without any sense of burden or strain. The ground here has held countless others who came seeking exactly what you seek now. Rest for souls that have forgotten how to rest. Peace for hearts that have been working too hard. Hope for spirits that have been running on empty for too long. The moss shapes itself perfectly to your body, creating the most comfortable bed you have ever known, a bed that asks nothing of you, except that you allow yourself to be held. Above you, the canopy creates a living ceiling of green and gold, where squirrels play among the branches and songbirds call to each other with voices that carry no urgency, no distress, but simply the joy of being alive, of being part of this great community of growing things. Their songs weave together into a natural symphony that seems designed specifically for your ears, music that helps reorganize your nervous system into patterns of peace, that helps your brain remember rhythms of rest it had almost forgotten. Close your eyes and feel yourself sinking deeper into this sanctuary of acceptance. The earth beneath you pulses gently, with life force, with the slow, deep breathing of a planet that has weathered countless storms and continues to spin in its reliable orbit around a sun that has never failed to rise. The trees around you exchange gases in the ancient dance of photosynthesis, creating the oxygen you need to live, creating the atmosphere that sustains all life, offering this gift freely without expecting gratitude or payment or even acknowledgement. Feel yourself becoming part of this living system, your own breathing synchronizing with the inhalation and exhalation of the forest itself, your heartbeat aligning with the slow pulse of sap rising in the trees, your entire being tuning to frequencies of growth and healing and quiet, persistent life force that has been available to you always, but that you had forgotten how to access in the noise and hurry of ordinary existence. As you rest here in perfect safety, you begin to remember things about yourself that the persistent sadness had covered over like dust accumulating on a mirror. You remember that you have a capacity for joy, even if it feels buried under layers of gray numbness. You remember that you have gifts to offer the world, even when those gifts feel small or unimportant compared to the dramatic talents of others. You remember that your sensitivity, which has sometimes felt like a curse, is actually a superpower that allows you to perceive beauty and meaning in places others might overlook. The spring continues to bubble up from deep in the earth, offering its gifts to any being who approaches with thirst. The willows continue their graceful dance, responding to every shift in the breeze. Without resistance, the herbs continue to release their healing essences into the air you breathe. All of this happening not because you have earned it, or because you have done anything special, but simply because this is what nature does. This is how life sustains itself, through countless small acts of generosity and care. Feel the muscles in your face relaxing, as if you have been wearing a mask for so long you had forgotten it was there. The constant slight tension around your eyes from squinting against brightness that felt too harsh, the tightness in your jaw from holding back words of pain or frustration or simple tiredness. All of this begins to melt away, leaving your face soft and open and years younger than when you entered this healing space. Your mind, which has been working so hard for so long to figure out how to feel better, how to find motivation, how to rediscover meaning, begins to slow its relentless churning. The forest offers a different way of being, a way that values presence over productivity, being, overdoing, existing, overachieving. The trees do not struggle to grow, they simply grow. The flowers do not work to be beautiful, they simply are beautiful. The stream does not effort to flow, it simply flows in the direction gravity calls it. This is the medicine the forest offers, the remembering that you too can exist without constant effort, that your worth is not determined by your productivity, that your value does not fluctuate based on your mood or energy level or ability to contribute. You are valuable because you are here, because you are part of this web of existence, because the same force that grows the trees and flows the water and shines the stars lives within you and has never stopped loving you, even when you stopped being able to feel that love. As night settles gently over the forest, the darkness does not come all at once, but gradually, like a soft blanket being slowly pulled over the earth. The sounds of day creatures give way to the sounds of night, but the transition is seamless, peaceful, a natural rhythm that your body recognizes and relaxes into. An owl calls from somewhere in the canopy, its voice deep and reassuring rather than startling or ominous. Night-blooming flowers begin to release their fragrances, adding layers of sweetness to the air that help your brain produce the neurochemicals needed for deep, restorative sleep. The spring glows softly in the darkness, as if lit from within by bioluminescent minerals that transform the ordinary into the magical. The gentle bubbling sound becomes your lullaby, a constant soft rhythm that matches the pace you're breathing naturally. Wants to find when you are truly at rest, when you are held by something larger than your own ability to hold yourself together. Feel yourself sinking deeper into the earth's embrace, your body growing heavy with relaxation, your mind growing quiet with acceptance, your heart growing soft with the self-compassion you have been withholding. For far too long, the forest holds you, completely holds all of you, the parts that feel broken and the parts that feel strong, the parts that remember how to hope and the parts that have forgotten, the parts that trust in healing and the parts that fear nothing will ever change. You are safe here in this sanctuary that exists outside of time, where healing happens at exactly the pace it needs to happen, where you do not have to perform recovery or prove your progress to anyone, where you can simply exist in your own natural rhythm, like the trees that grow as they grow, like the stream that flows as it flows, like the stars that shine as they shine, without apology, without explanation, without needing permission from anyone or anything. The forest will remain here, holding space for your healing while you sleep, tending the seeds of renewal that have been planted in your heart today. The ancient oaks will keep their vigil. The healing spring will continue to offer its gifts. The night creatures will maintain their gentle watch over your dreams, ensuring that your rest is protected, that your peace is preserved, that your soul has the sanctuary it needs to remember its own capacity for joy. Sleep now in this forest of quiet healing. Sleep knowing that you are held by roots that go deeper than your pain, by love that is older than your wounds, by a presence that will never abandon you no matter how dark the night becomes. Sleep trusting that the same intelligence that grows the trees is working within you to heal and restore and renew. Sleep peacefully, forest child, sleep deeply, beloved one. Sleep knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. The forest of quiet healing will remain here always, a sanctuary within your own consciousness, where gentle persistence is honored, where steady progress is celebrated, where the quiet strength you have developed through endurance is recognized as the profound gift it truly is. You can return here whenever you need to remember that healing does not always look like dramatic breakthrough, that sometimes the most powerful medicine is simply the decision to keep breathing, to keep showing up, to keep allowing yourself to be held by the love that surrounds you always. The air grows thinner as you ascend, but somehow each breath feels more nourishing than the last, as if the atmosphere itself has been infused with healing properties that work especially well on souls that have forgotten how to hope. The mountain does not demand that you hurry, does not insist that you prove your worthiness to reach whatever sanctuary lies ahead. Instead, it offers each step as a gift, each breath as a blessing, each moment of upward movement as evidence that you are stronger than you, no more resilient than you believe, more capable of healing than the voices in your head have convinced you to believe. As you round a bend in the trail, the landscape opens before you in a way that makes your heart catch with wonder. You have arrived at a hidden meadow that exists in a pocket of eternal spring, protected from the harsh weather of the peaks above by ancient geological formations that create a natural amphitheater of stone and sky. The meadow stretches before you like a living carpet, woven from every shade of green imaginable, punctuated by wildflowers that bloom here regardless of season, regardless of the snow that may cover the mountains beyond this protected space. This is a place where time follows different rules, where the usual laws of scarcity and limitation do not apply, where abundance grows wild and untended, offering its gifts freely to any being who arrives with an open heart and a willingness to receive. The grass beneath your feet is soft as velvet, each blade seeming to bend with gratitude for the touch of your footsteps. The earth here has been enriched by thousands of years of flowers blooming and dying and returning their essence to the soil, creating a foundation of such fertility that everything grows with unusual vigor and beauty. Walk slowly into this sanctuary and feel how the very act of breathing here begins to change your internal chemistry. The air is perfumed with the scent of countless flowers, jasmine and honeysuckle, and wild roses that climb the rocky walls surrounding the meadow. Their combined fragrance creates a natural aromatherapy that works directly on your nervous system, calming the fight or flight response that has been active for so long you had forgotten it was possible to feel truly relaxed, truly safe, truly at peace in your own skin. In the distance, you hear the gentle sound of water, and following this music, you discover a waterfall that cascades down the far wall of the meadow, falling perhaps 30 feet into a pool that has been carved by centuries of patient water into the perfect shape for healing immersion. The waterfall does not crash with thunderous force, but flows like liquid silk, creating negative ions that charge the air with energy that lifts depression and anxiety as naturally as sunrise lifts darkness. The pool below is deep enough for floating, yet clear enough to see the smooth stones that line its bottom, each one polished by flowing water into a perfect tool for peaceful contemplation. The temperature of this healing pool is precisely calibrated for therapeutic benefit, warm enough to relax every muscle in your body, cool enough to invigorate your circulation, perfect for allowing your nervous system to remember its natural state of balanced calm. Wade slowly into the water and feel it receiving your body like the embrace of unconditional love. The mineral content of this mountain water works on your skin and through your skin, carrying healing deep into tissue that has been tight with unexpressed emotion, tight with the effort of holding yourself together when everything felt like it was falling apart. Float gently on your back in this sacred pool and look up at the circle of sky visible above the meadow walls. The clouds that drift past seem to carry away pieces of your pain, as they move across your field of vision, each one taking with it another layer of the sadness that has accumulated in your heart like silt gathering at the bottom of a pond. The water supports you completely. You do not have to work to stay afloat here, do not have to effort to keep your head above water. The pool holds you as naturally as the earth holds the ocean, as tenderly as space holds the stars. As you float in this perfect sanctuary, you begin to notice the sounds that surround you without overwhelming you. The gentle splash of the waterfall creating its eternal song of renewal, the soft buzzing of bees moving from flower to flower, in the meadow gathering nectar and spreading life in the ancient dance of pollination, the distant call of mountain birds, whose voices carry no urgency, no distress, but simply the contentment of creatures who know they belong exactly where they are. The combination of these sounds creates a natural symphony that helps your brainwaves shift into the slower rhythms associated with deep healing and restoration. At the edge of the pool grows a magnificent weeping willow, its branches creating a natural pavilion that offers shade and privacy should you choose to rest beneath its graceful canopy. The willow has grown to unusual size here in this protected place, its trunk wide enough to lean against its roots, extending deep into the mineral-rich soil of the meadow. This tree has become a living temple, a place where countless souls have come to remember their own resilience, their own capacity for bending without breaking, their own ability to find grace within whatever circumstances life has presented. Swim slowly to the edge of the pool and pull yourself up onto the grassy bank that surrounds it. Feel how effortlessly your body moves through this healing water. How much lighter you feel, how much more fluid and graceful your movements have become. The water that drips from your skin carries away the last residues of tension, leaving you feeling cleansed, not just on the surface, but in the deepest layers of your being. Your skin tingles with vitality, your muscles feel loose and warm, your breathing has deepened into the slow rhythm of true relaxation. Walk slowly toward the great willow and notice how each step on the soft grass feels like a celebration, a small acknowledgement of your body's remarkable ability to carry you through difficult terrain, both literal and metaphorical. Your legs feel strong yet relaxed, your spine naturally erect yet free from the rigid tension that comes from bracing against life. Your entire physical being seems to remember what it was designed for, not just survival, but thriving, not just endurance, but joy, not just getting by, but dancing with the rhythms of existence. Settle yourself against the trunk of the ancient willow and feel its living warmth against your back. The bark is surprisingly smooth, worn gentle by countless seasons, by the touch of others who have sought the same healing you seek now. The tree's massive presence radiates a sense of being deeply rooted, yet infinitely flexible, of surviving storms by yielding to their power rather than resisting, of growing stronger through adaptation rather than rigidity. The willow shares this wisdom with you through direct transmission from its consciousness to yours. From your resting place against the tree, you can see the entire meadow spread before you, like a living mandala of healing energy. The flowers seem to pulse gently with their own inner light, creating patterns that shift and flow like a kaleidoscope, designed to induce the deepest possible state of relaxation. Sunflowers, tall as your shoulders, turn their faces to follow the path of the sun across the sky, teaching you about the natural tendency of all living things to orient toward, light toward hope, toward the promise of new growth, even after the darkest seasons. The meadow grass moves in waves as gentle breezes flow down from the surrounding peaks, creating the illusion that you are sitting in the center of a green ocean that extends in all directions, toward horizons of infinite possibility. The movement is hypnotic, soothing to nervous systems that have been overstimulated by the harsh rhythms of modern life. The grass whispers as it moves, telling stories of resilience, of growing back after being cut down, of finding ways to thrive in whatever conditions are offered, of the quiet dignity that comes from doing what you were designed to do without needing recognition or reward. As the sun begins its descent toward the western edge of the meadow, the light takes on the golden quality that photographers call magic hour. But here in this sanctuary, every hour feels touched by magic. Every moment seems infused with the possibility of healing. The golden light seems to reach into your very cells, awakening dormant capacities for joy, for wonder, for the kind of deep contentment that has nothing to do with external circumstances and everything to do with remembering your true nature as a being of light, temporarily having a human experience. You notice butterflies beginning to emerge from wherever butterflies rest during the heat of the day, monarchs and swallowtails and small blue ones whose names you do not know but whose beauty speaks directly to your soul. They dance through the air with no apparent destination other than the joy of flight, other than the celebration of being alive in this moment, in this place of perfect safety and infinite possibility. Their wings catch the golden light and scatter it in patterns that seem designed to heal whatever in you has been broken by too much darkness, by too many days of feeling separate from beauty, from wonder, from your own natural birthright of happiness. The willow above you continues its graceful swaying, creating patterns of shadow and starlight on your closed eyelids. Patterns that seem designed to induce the deepest possible relaxation, to help your brainwaves shift into the delta frequencies, associated with healing sleep, with the kind of rest that repairs damage done by chronic stress, by persistent sadness, by the accumulated weight of living in a world that has not always been kind to your tender heart. Feel your body sinking deeper into the earth, your muscles releasing tension layer by layer like snow melting in spring sunshine. Your nervous system remembers what it was like before it learned to be constantly alert, before it developed the exhausting habit of scanning for danger that exists more in memory than in present reality. The meadow offers your entire being permission to rest completely, to trust that you are safe, to allow your natural healing mechanisms to work without interference. From the part of your mind that insists on staying busy, staying worried, staying in control, you are held here by forces far greater than your ability to heal yourself, held by the same power that turns the earth around, the sun that pulls the tides, that grows the flowers, that creates new life from the apparent death of winter. The meadow pulses gently with this life force, and you feel yourself becoming part of its rhythm, part of its natural intelligence, part of its capacity for renewal that never ends, never gives up, never stops, believing in the possibility of transformation even when transformation seems impossible. Let sleep take you gently now, like being rocked by the earth itself, like being sung to sleep by the combined voices of wind and water and growing things, like being cradled in the arms of a love so vast and unconditional that your mind cannot grasp it, but your heart recognizes it as home. The meadow will continue its healing work. While you rest, the flowers will continue blooming, the water will continue flowing, the stars will continue shining, keeping watch over your dreams, ensuring that your rest is blessed with visions of hope, with memories of joy, with promises of brighter days ahead. Sleep now in the hidden meadow of eternal spring sleep, knowing that this sanctuary lives within you. Always sleep trusting that the same power that sustains this place of healing is working within you every moment of every day to restore your capacity for happiness, to renew your strength, to remind you of your infinite worth. Sleep peacefully, mountain traveler, sleep. Deeply cherished soul, sleep knowing that you have found your way home to the peace that has been waiting for you always.